Welcome to another video for WinBidPro by GDS Estimating. This video is meant more for people just starting out using our software. So it's your very first experience with the program, maybe even your very first time logging into the software. So I'm hoping that you have the program installed on your computer. And if so, you should see an icon like this, V15 WinBidPro. And if that's the case, which hopefully it is, you can double click on it. And I'll kind of walk you through the gist of the program and kind of the important key things to know about. And there's going to be a few videos that do this really beginning introductory stuff. And so the first thing you're going to be presented with after you've logged in and put your user information in is a list of vendors. And if it's the very first time and you haven't loaded any vendors, then all you're going to see is sample metal vendor. So what you're going to want to do is click Get More Vendor Catalogs and look through our license agreement. It talks about it's important to check your catalog information before you send out quotes. You know, we're not really responsible for everything about the catalog, basically, but yeah, it's important to know what you're getting into with the catalogs. So then you get to the list of catalogs. There's I think 22 almost or more. So you can click download on any of these, and if you already have some downloaded catalogs, it'll say installed. So any of the ones you click download on will be added to the window behind us here. And let's just go ahead and open this FCO catalog since I've already got that one loaded. So the next thing you'll see is a list of jobs. And this list of jobs would be, ever since you've loaded the catalog, whatever you've created and haven't deleted would be showing here. You can sort it different ways, by job name or by edit date or bid date. Job ID is just kind of an incremental number that's created every time you create a new job, so it's an automatic thing. But I like to do edit date because then the latest one is on top. So I'm going to select a job. You could also hit add new, but the point for this video is to show you a little about the program before you do create a new job. So once you get in the software, you've got some key things. We've got our menu tree on the left here, and we have our main drawing window. So it shows us that a sample elevation for that sample job we opened. Then we've got drawing tools, and then we've got the drawing tabs, which is the different components or pieces of a drawing that can be configured and drawn. So over here on the menu tree, though, that's kind of where everything is that you can print, edit, change, all those types of things. So we've got support, and then training. That takes you basically to our website. There's a help document, things like that. Now the glass table is something that's important because it applies to the entire program. So when you add glass to an elevation, you're picking from this list, and it comes with over 200 records of glass in it already, but you can delete all the ones you don't like, or you can add your own. You can there's no pricing, so you want to enter pricing for the ones you do like. You can check favorites for ones that you like, and those will come up to the top of the list. But there's kind of a variety of all types of glass in there, so that's important to know. So now another thing is hardware. There's a list for hardware that you can add to your final parts report, and that's third-party hardware by others. That's populated with a huge list of hardware, and you can add and delete from that list too and change the pricing. It's all configurable by yourself. So that's something that other videos will get more into the details on that kind of thing. So we already covered the vendor list. Framing systems is a very key thing. So every vendor catalog that you open has configured framing systems, and those systems they consist of parts and detailed drawings and settings. So there's kind of a settings window where profiles and the way the head and sill are cut, if there's receptors, how those are dealt with. There's stock lengths, there's detail files that belong to those components, like your sill, vertical head jambs, gasket materials configured here, and all your miscellaneous hardware, screws, setting blocks, clips, dams, everything. So all that stuff's been configured in these framing systems, and you can edit, delete, create new ones, you know, all that. You can export them and send them to another computer or another person. So there's a lot of things like that, export and import. So that's a very key part of the program. There's entrances, where pre-configured entrances that have a door frame and a door leaf. So just like our framing system list, there's lists of door frames and door leaves. The parts list is a real key thing, because that's where all those parts we saw in the framing systems are coming from here. So this is where our multiplier was configured, or can be configured. This is where the list pricing is configured. Some catalogs actually don't have pricing, so you would have to send a list of material to the manufacturer to get pricing back. But a lot of them have current pricing, and we update them either annually or even sometimes more often. And then you can add your own parts to these. You can edit any part. You can change any part. So the parts list is a key thing to the program as well, and that's where all the information that shows up on your reports comes from. So we've got our jobs list, which we saw when we got into the program. We can create a new job here just by clicking that. We can see a list of our elevations in a job. That allows us to change a frame. We can look at the different settings for the job, or the different dimensions and layouts and panels and all that, just as a summary. And then another very key thing is the optimizer. So the optimizer is what's, after elevations are drawn, all the cut pieces are automatically added to the optimizer. So cut pieces are added and they're optimized. So the stock lengths are already, the cut patterns have already been calculated for how many stock lengths are required for those cut pieces. So this is how the final parts report, which is next, knows how many stock lengths to show that are required, how many feet of gasket, how many setting blocks, all that stuff shows up in this final parts report. And you can adjust your multiplier here, or even pricing, and then you can even add different parts manually. You can add the hardware parts that we looked at. So all that can happen here in the final parts report. So then you've got your final glass. So final glass is where it gives you a summary of all your parts, glass parts for the job. So it gives you a summary in terms of size, type, and then you can change pricing here. We can make this window bigger. We can change pricing. We can actually edit sizes of glass, but you would want to do something like that where it says edit job glass. You can calculate labor, so there's labor defaults that would get set. And there's a markup report. So the markup report shows your final totals for all your materials, but then it also gives you a chance to put taxes, surcharges, markup percentages, things like that. So that's what your markup report is. You can do notes, has job information where you can have a contractor, architect information, all that kind of stuff. So there's a final summary report. That's just kind of a summary of the entire job in terms of stats and costs, and no markup and this kind of thing, but it gives you that all in one screen. And then there's a print report window that actually lets you get get to all the different reports, and you can print consecutive reports this way, whereas here you can print individual reports. And there's a shop drawing feature that gives you a way to generate all the elevations and combine them on a sheet, and then have details included for the different systems that are used. So you can export those to CAD. We've got our own little CAD program that'll actually open here and allow you to edit drawings, although that is only one directional, so you can't edit a drawing here and have it go back into the WinBidPro software. It has to be something you do when you're all done with your job. So there's some other tools here, but in the next video, we're going to get more into the actual drawing tools, and then the one after that, maybe even more in depth with the different ways to draw the elevations. So that's pretty much it for this video. Stay tuned for the next one. Thanks.